mentions that persistence in love does not always pay. This made Ruoni also talk about her breakup. Ruoni reveals that her ex-boyfriend broke up with her after he repeated senior class in high school for 3 consecutive years. Jemtae walks up to her and brushes her hair from her face as he realizes that she is crying, but she tells him that she isn't. Jemtae wonders to himself whether Shia's hair feels the same way as Ruoni's, but he immediately pushes away the thought as they leave. After getting Ruoni home, he turns around to go to his apartment. On the way, he considers texting Shia, but he changes his mind to send a voice note instead, and as he is about to, his phone goes off. He runs back home while calling out her name, and he finds her sitting outside the house waiting for him. He tells her he had fun and convinces her he is not drunk by walking in a straight line. When she tells him that she has been indoors all day, he tells her about how he wishes he could take a break from school. Shia and Jemtae laugh about how he got lipstick on his lips, but she gets jealous when he tells her they played wedlock wine. While he's trying to convince her that it is not as she thinks, she holds his face and leans in to kiss him briefly, but when she tries moving away, Jemtae pulls her in and kisses her. After they both kiss, Shia goes into her apartment and asks him to come in, but he tells her he'll head in later. He wakes up with a start the next day as he can't get over the fact that he had his first kiss with Shia. Jemtae leaves the house for the library hoping to clear his head, and he finds a poster requesting a female housemate. Jemtae eventually discovers that Shia is renting out. At school, Jemtae is unable to concentrate on reading as his mind keeps going back to the kiss he shared with Shia. After he returns home, Jemtae knocks at Shia's door and he asks about the for rent sign. He also tells her that he wants to talk about their kiss, so she lets him in. When Shia talks bluntly about the kiss, he falls to his knees in embarrassment, and she is also shocked to learn that she was his first kiss. They sit and Shia tells him that she's renting out a room in hopes of getting another friend. He asks if they could both go out with Zhu after exams, and she agrees to this. She also asks if she could hold his hands, and he lets her. But Shia holds his hands and leans her head on his shoulder. As the days go by, Shia gets startled whenever he remembers the kiss he shared with Shia. He meets Zhu in school and they end up walking back home together. Jemtae asks that they hang out later during the weekend, and Zhu asks him to follow her to the library. He does so, but they are both assigned to seats very far from each other. While they are waiting in line, a male friend of Zhu walks up to her, and they chat for a while. Zhu's male friend asks if Jemtae is her boyfriend. She denies it. Jemtae is angered by this as he realizes that Zhu had purposely refused to hang out with him since all these while, so he makes up an excuse to leave. Jemtae feels betrayed by this, but he realizes he has not been fair to her either, since he had also flirted with Shia and even gone so far as to kiss her. Ruoni is seen preparing for exams when she decides that she needs to get over her breakup by becoming more social. Ruoni decides that the first step she could take was to get an apartment off campus. We're shown a flashback from the past when Zhu and Jemtae were still high school students. They walk towards Zhu's house to get her notebook, and on their way, Zhu tells him that she had gotten suspended from school and that was why she had not been attending classes. When they arrive at her house, Zhu's father finds them outside and scolds her harshly for hanging out with a boy and bringing him home. Zhu is angered when he calls her embarrassing names, and she flings her school bag at him and tells him she feels embarrassed to be born into his family. Zhu runs off after grabbing Jemtae's hand, and when they finally stop for air, she apologizes that he had to witness what happened. Zhu also asks that he forgets it. We're brought back to the present as Zhu finds Jemtae at a cafe outside the library. Zhu grabs his hand and asks him to go somewhere with her. She takes him to the rooftop and they both watch the night sky and the city. She tries telling him the reason why she brought him there, but she refuses to complete the sentence and asks them to go back to reading. She leaves him behind while speedily walking out of the library as she reveals that she likes Jemtae, but she's afraid to confess her feelings because they can't be together, especially since her situation wouldn't allow it. Jemtae returns home and wakes up the next day to find Shia staring at him. She tries to make him get out of bed, but he doesn't move an inch, and he asks her to go and make other friends. Shia is angered by this, but she ignores his words and flips him over with his bedspread. Jemtae snatches it from her and goes back to bed, and Shia leaves angrily. Jemtae wakes up in a sore mood as he is yet to figure out why Zhu took him to the rooftop. Ruino comes around and Shia calls Jemtae to help her with moving her things into the apartment. Jemtae gets out of bed to meet her, and he is shocked, however, when he finds out the new housemate is Ruoni. We're taken to a flashback of the past where Ruoni is seen leaving the library when she comes across the poster outside Jemtae and Shia's apartment. She knocks on the door and she's answered by Shia, whose beauty immediately captivates her. Shia gives her a tour of the apartment and she gives her a condition that she has a male neighbor upstairs and he'll be coming around a lot. Ruoni tells her that she doesn't mind, but she almost loses her mind when she enters Shia's walk-in closet as she is mind-blown by the numerous designer bags and dresses. Shia notices this and tells her she can have some of the bags. Ruoni snaps out of her reverie and is surprised to discover that Jemtae is the male housemate that Shia had mentioned. Ruoni treats Jemtae coldly while he tries to talk to her, and Jemtae wonders why he is being treated that way, but he suddenly remembers that he forgot to text her after the last time that they met. After Ruoni has fully settled in, they all go out for dinner. They all have alcohol, and later on, Shea goes out to get some air, and Jumtae and Ruoni make up their differences. When they walk out of the restaurant, they talk about the get-together unaware that Shea could hear them. In his drunken state, Jumtae reveals he is falling in love with her while thinking he is talking to Shea, and Ruoni misunderstands and assumes he is interested in her. He collapses on her, so Shea rushes forward and takes him home. After Shea tucks him in bed, she asks if he is happy now, but he is confused. Shea asks him to scoot over, and she sits down next to him. She asks that they date officially, but Jumtae refuses while thinking that Shea is toying with him. Shea tries convincing him otherwise, but Jumtae is still curious about why Zhu had taken him to the rooftop earlier that day. Shea realizes that Jumtae is uninterested in anything she has to say, so she calls him a dummy and lays back down. The next morning, Jumtae wakes up before Shea. He stares at her for a while and stands up to sneak out. Shea wakes up just then and stops him since nothing happened between them. They leave together, and she suddenly turns around and rubs his jaw to feel his beard. Ruoni sees them and is shocked. She finds out they spent the night together. Jumtae looks up Shea on the internet. She is portrayed as a violent person. He calls Guju his friend. He is mad at Jumtae for telling him to his mom. Jumtae asks if he is still a fan of Lei Shea, and he tells him she is his friend and they hang out together. Guju doesn't believe him. He tells him he is not a fan of Shea anymore and drops the call. Jumtae decides to stop looking her up. Guju visits Jumtae, but only because his mom made him. Jumtae meets him at the gate. He is worried things will get out of hand if Guju meets Shea. Jumtae takes the bag from Guju and shuts the door in his face. Guju is pissed about this, so he sneaks into the compound to spy on him. He is surprised when he sees Shea, and he is all over her at once. He tries taking a photo with her, but she kicks him out of the house. Guju sneaks in the next day, and Jumtae kicks him out, but he keeps coming around until he finally meets. He offers her tuna, and she takes it, but throws it away. Shea asks Guju to stay away from her. Guju is angry, and he shouts at her, accusing her of pretending. Jumtae rushes out to them, and he stands between them. He asks Guju to go out, but he grabs him and ends up in a scuffle. Guju pushes Jumtae off. He renounces their friendship and walks away. Jumtae is angry, but when he turns around, he finds Shea shaky. He consoles her and asks him on a date. Later on, Jumtae and Zhu are seen walking toward the school library together. Zhu and Jumtae laugh at how Guju had been showing up at Jumtae's doorstep for the past few weeks. However, Shea had refused to see him each time. After Zhu picks up some books at the library, they're about to walk down a flight of stairs when Zhu loses her footing, but Jumtae catches her at the last minute, and they end up in an awkward situation. Jumtae notices that Zhu is visibly flustered by this, and he eases the tension by picking up her books. After Jumtae picks up a couple of books, he is surprised when Zhu calls out to him and asks if he could accompany her on Cultural Festival Day. Zhu reveals that she would be working as a patrol and setting up tents for the crowd, and Jumtae is initially hesitant about this, but after noticing the blush on Zhu's face, he agrees to accompany her while harboring hopes that she feels the same way about him. The next day, Jumtae and Shea are seen discussing on a bench when Shea asks if he has plans for Cultural Festival Day. Jumtae tells Shea about his plans with Zhu, but she draws closer to him and tries teasing him into canceling out. The first day of the cultural festival finally arrives, and Jumtae is visibly surprised when Shea strolls into the school premises while stealing the crowd's attention with her bold attire and stunning looks. He hands her his jacket to stop people from staring so intently at her, but it only incites the crowd's attention as they walk past. Shea spends the rest of the day hanging out with Jumtae, and they have fun with Jumtae's friends. Later on, they stop by a booth to take some pictures, but the booth attendant is not around. They eventually decide to wait for the attendant, but after waiting for a while, Shea excuses herself. A few moments later, a lady wearing a chicken head appears and tells Jumtae that she is the booth attendant. She also apologizes for keeping Jumtae waiting, but it turns out to be Ruino. They're both excited to reunite again, but before they could exchange contacts, Shea arrives and grabs Jumtae's hands while telling him that she is ready to leave. Ruino is hurt by this as she immediately assumes that they're dating. On their way back home, Shea asks Jumtae if he had fun because she was around, and Jumtae tells her that he did. Jumtae feels a twinge of guilt as he realizes that he was starting to lose feelings for Zhu. He also regrets not making a move on her because Zhu had not encouraged him to tell her his feelings on the rooftop the other day, but he decides not to shy away from his feelings for Shea any longer. Jumtae cracks a joke and Shea laughs hard at this, but unknown to them, Zhu watches them from a corner with an indecipherable expression on her face. She recalls how she had sent a message to Jumtae to remind him about the festival, but Jumtae had excused himself, and she sadly realizes that Jumtae's feelings for her had changed. While Jumtae and Shea stroll around the campus in oblivion to Zhu's jealousy, they come across a large crowd in front of a huge stage. Shea asks Jumtae if they can watch the show, and Jumtae wonders if Shea misses stardom. The show's MC makes an appearance and tells the audience that 5 people would be allowed to openly confess their love for a crush through a dance performance or a song, and she asks people to volunteer. Shea steps out in front of the crowd, and Jumtae tries to stop her as he is stunned by their actions, but the crowd prevents him from getting through to her. Shea introduces herself to the audience, and the crowd goes wild as they realize that she is Lei Shea, the most famous member of Dream Suite. Shia tells the MC that she'll be singing a song, and Jungtae wonders if Shia has someone that she likes and if there was a remote chance that this person was him. However, Shia gets last-minute jitters and the air gets tense with tension as she stays silent. Just when the MC decides to kick Shia off stage, Zhu comes to her rescue and asks if she can sing a song before Shia. Zhu tells the audience that her song is dedicated to a crush. However, she could not reveal his name because emotions were private feelings that should only be shown to a significant other. While Zhu sings in an offbeat tune, the crowd receives her warmly and Shia steps off the stage. Jungtae wonders who Zhu's crush is and whether or not she has a romantic interest in him. However, all thoughts of Zhu fly out of his head as he notices Shia's pain-stricken expression. A few days later, Jungtae gets word that Shia had refused to leave her room after that night, so he decides to check up on her. Jungtae knocks on Shia's door repeatedly, and he is surprised when the door opens and he is suddenly pulled in. Shia presses Jungtae against the wall of her bedroom and they gaze intently at each other. Their hormones gain control of them and Jungtae kisses Shia as he realizes that he has fallen in love with her. Jungtae tries to leave after realizing that Shia is safe. However, she persuades him not to go as Ruino was now in the living room and she would suspect that something was going on between them.